Today, I want to share 6 things that parents and teachers should say more often to their kids. Number 1, I'm sorry. That is so hard to say. I don't know why can be so hard to say. One of my students from many years ago said to me, Mr. Vine, you're different than our other teachers. And when I asked him why, he said, I was willing to tell them I was sorry when I made a mistake. I didn't necessarily do that intentionally. It just kind of happened. And yesterday I had to do the same thing. A student who is playing saxophone, learning saxophone, he said, something's wrong with my instrument. That's why I didn't pass the test. And I was like, yeah, right. Something's wrong with your instrument. And I just kind of blew him off. And then about 10 minutes later, I had a chance to kind of look at the instrument. And there was something wrong with his instrument. There's something wrong with his instrument was like what was wrong with me. There was a screw loose on it. So we tightened the screw and he passed the test. So I had to apologize to him and tell him I was sorry. I'm sorry, number 1. Number 2, I'm proud of you. My stepdad was notorious for this. I'd bring home my report card and I had all A's except for 1 grade. And he'd say, why do you have that B? Not anything about the 5 A's, but why do you have that B? What made it more comical is that later on, I found out that he was a straight D student. So that kind of helped me feel better about it. Number 3, this one is one of the most important ones. I love you. For some reason, some people have a hard time with that. My stepdad, once again, that was something hard for him. And when I turned 30, I decided I was going to be the man in the relationship. And I started telling him, I love you. And he never could bring himself to say it. He would tell me, thank you. And that was, it makes me laugh even now, even though that's been many, many years ago now. Kind of related to number 1. Number 4 is, I forgive you. We all need grace. I have had so much grace given to me by others in my life, and most importantly, by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that I want to pour out that grace onto other people. Sometimes people do need consequences for what they've done wrong, but sometimes we need to just give them complete grace and no consequence. It kind of depends. I can't tell in one short post about that. Number 5, I'm listening. This is the one I was the most guilty of not doing because maybe it's the Italian in me. I always have to put my 2 cents in and say something about what's happening. And sometimes I just need to stop and listen and not interrupt and not think about what my next thought is going to be, but just listen. And then number 6, this is your responsibility. We eventually have to cut that umbilical cord, and we have to let our kids and students face the consequences for poor and good decisions that they make, and just let them learn those things on their own. That can be the toughest thing sometimes. Have a great weekend. I love all of you. I'd love to hear your comments about any other things that we should make sure that we say to people.